This is a Talking Teacups of Doom production. Hi, I'm the Goddess of Gaming, and right now I am doing a critique on Hidden Mysteries Titanic. This is a game by Activision, and it's rated E for everyone by the ESRB. So, this game kind of leaves something to be desired after the whole game. It's not a very long game, unfortunately. It's maybe 5 or 6 hours, and there's not exactly a lot of hidden content for you to get into, so kind of disappointing on that front, but let's start at the beginning. You play as Margaret Ashley, who is a newlywed, who you're not quite sure where she's from. None of the characters, except for a little boy, has a real accent. And they never really say, who or where or why. But you know that she's going on the ship with her husband, to start a new life. She's apparently come from a lower class family, married into a higher class family, and now they're going on the Titanic and blowing it all away in the New World. So, in this game, you start out on a boat dock with your husband, and of course, he hands over his boarding pass, but for some reason, he doesn't have Margaret's. Just because when you're traveling together, of course you wouldn't keep your traveling documents together. After a little bit of argument, he says that he gave the documents to Montague, the servant. No, this is not anything like Romeo and Juliet, unfortunately. But that, I'm sorry, you'll just have to go get them yourself. So Margaret goes and finds Montague, the servant, with her mother. Yeah, because that's who I'd expect to see with a servant, is my mother. Anyways, it seems like Margaret's mother is slightly psychotic, and she's beating this servant for beating a little kid who apparently pickpocketed him. Yeah. No. Anyways, Montague basically says, that kid that pickpocketed me, that your mother's currently beating me for, yeah, he took your boarding pass. So, you go run after the little kid, whose name is George. But for some reason, Margaret likes to call him Georgie. The kid asks, several times, "It's George? Don't call me Georgie?" Guess that's not much of a question, is it? But she still calls him Georgie, And to top it all off, the kid's got kind of a Viking/British/pirate accent. So, yeah, no. Not quite sure what was up with that, but he was really the only person that had an accent. So, he says, "No, I don't have it, but I'll tell you who does if you get me a pack of cigarette cards." Because apparently they put paper cards in cigarette containers back then. Because that sounds like the smartest thing to do. So Margaret goes, breaks open a container, steals a package of cards, or 2, or 5, or 10, and basically gives them to George, and he says that her mother has taken her boarding pass. When you talk to her mother, apparently mother's not so happy with the marriage, thinks that if Margaret goes on the Titanic, that it will all end up in ruin. Oh my gosh, Margaret, you should have listened to your mother. The boat is going to sink. No, Activision has not changed history on this one, which is kind of nice. Instead, Margaret takes her boarding pass away from her mother, says a few snide words, and basically goes and boards. Now, after this, there's really not a lot that I can say without spoilers, but there's a lot of weird things that Margaret does. Like, when the boat starts sinking, she starts ordering bottles of wine. Yeah, no. Um, you know, and unfortunately, she's not ordering the bottles of wine like you would think ordering, like from a servant. No, she's taking bottles of wine and categorizing them by how full they are. Because that's what I would do if I was about to die. No. Anyways, this game is alright. You'd think that the cover would give some sort of indication, but, all of these people on the cover, if you can see it, you don't meet any of these people. I don't know who these people are. Apparently they were on the Titanic, but not on the same Titanic that Margaret was. Also, maybe this is just because it's the Wii version, but some of the puzzles are hard, like doing a combination lock. It sounds easy if you know how to do a combination lock the first time, and then if you don't go past, because it doesn't give you, a couple notches or so, like a normal combination lock does. Instead, it punishes you for breaking and entering, and makes you do it over and over and over again until you're about ready to cry. Also, there's some really obscure things in this, like addictive seasickness medication, which I wasn't really quite sure how they made it addictive, but somehow they did. And, of course, my favorite, you get to cripple some guy with an ice puck while playing shuffleboard. This game is kind of hard to navigate with the Wii Remote. I would probably say it's more of a DS game if you can find it, but, other than that, the storyline is okay, It's kind of like, it leaves you not wondering if Margaret and her family got off the boat safely, because you do get to see them in the safety boats, so, yeah, they live, unfortunately. But you wonder more if she's pregnant or not. And if you play the game, you'll get that, as weird as it sounds. Another thing about this game is that some of the questions that it starts out with, it doesn't really answer. Like, right after you get back on the ship, Margaret finds out that, her and her husband are staying in different cabins. Okay, can we cue the hooker moment, please? But no, that just kind of goes unresolved. He says that he thought it would be more comfortable for the two of them, and that they're moving a little bit too fast. I'd like to remind him that they're married, and that you can't really move too fast when you're married. Overall, with the addition of the strange Wii controls, where if you have your motion bar set at a nice height, it's an okay game to maneuver. The plotline is alright. I would not recommend this for serious gamers. This is kind of your family gamer type thing. The Goddess of Gaming gives this game a 6 out of 10.